It's been all fun and games here. What you just saw was a result of a 10-minute downpour, creating a flash flood onto our property. A river of water came from the field behind our house, demolishing a 4-foot high by about 40-foot long retaining wall and leaving behind tons of topsoil. So I am in the process of clearing up, and so far I've cleared about 200 wheelbarrows of soil, and I've still got quite a long way to go. So with all this trauma going on, we definitely need some workshop therapy. Well, I've got plenty of projects I could work on. I thought it would be nice just to come into the workshop and start and finish a small project. So inspired by a video from Stefan in Germany, I decided I would make a double-ended chamfering tool. So I've got a piece of 1/4 inch high-speed steel which I've used for the cutting tools. But the first thing we'll need is a shank to hold them. So I just cut a piece of material from a bit of scrap flat plate. And then onto the shaper to square it up. So the shaper is easily the most therapeutic tool in the workshop, worth every penny. So once done in the shaper, it's onto the lathe and into the 4-jaw chuck. I drilled this out 6.1mm to follow up with a 1/4 inch reamer, but the 6.1 drill is drilled over size, so it's actually pretty much spot on 1/4 inch or 6.35. So I guess that was pretty lucky. Okay, that's the finished tool. I just fitted these tool bits in place with Loctite. So let's give it a try. Okay, so the end cap just stops me from stabbing my hand on the tools in the lathe. So this hand vise is something I made as a college project when I was 16 years old. It's really handy for holding small tool bits for grinding. So I had a young lad in here the other day having a look around the workshop, and he was having a look at this and he says, oh, 1972. So this lad was about, what, 10-year-old? And I said, yes, that's the year I made this tool, when I was 16-year-old. And he looked at me and he said, you're very old. So that was a pretty sobering moment. Old and wise, eh? I'll contest the old bit. I was asked to do a job recently, component made of hardened steel. So I thought, well, that's a good excuse to buy a set of hardness testing files. Always wanted one of these. Okay, we can give them a try on this Chuck Joe. So we'll start with HRC 55. So that's just skirting over the surface, so it's harder than the file, so it's harder than 55. We'll try 60. That's gripping, that's making a mark. So it's somewhere between 55 and 60. Anyway, so I got some CBN tips. So you only have one cutting edge, and these have worked absolutely fantastic. It was no more difficult to machine HRC 60 than ordinary mild steel, I would say. So that worked absolutely brilliant. I didn't take any video of the job, I didn't have time, and it was just basic turning anyway. I'm using the soil that nature kindly gifted me to raise the level of the garden at the bottom of a deep slope. I think by the time I'm finished I'll have raised the level by about 15 to 18 inches. So it's actually come in quite handy. The front of the house is pretty much cleaned up. The side path's pretty much clear. Most of the back end is clear. But still quite a lot to do. Got my blocks ready to rebuild the retaining wall. So after taking down the log store, I heard a bit of a groan, and then the whole lot came tumbling. So this is about half the length of the damaged wall and fence.